Hey, good morning everyone. My name is Jie-Yan Lu and my advisor is Dr. Ye-Fu Guo. And today I'm going to introduce my research. And my research topic is monitoring growth rate of lettuce using deep convolutional neural networks. So, as most of you may know that vegetable is essential in human diet. Although we seldom taste nothing while we eat vegetable, and it usually contains low calories. But in fact, it contains lots of important nutrients, such as dietary fibers and diverse vitamins. And therefore, it's reported by WHO in 2013, the inadequate vegetable consumption attributed to 3.4 million deaths due to unique growth conditions. So, if we can control a unique growing condition, it seems that we can solve the problems we have shown here. So, most of us may know that the greenhouse is able to effectively maintain the growing conditions of plants. And I have shown some common conditions in greenhouse, such as the temperature and humidity, CO2 concentration, and PM concentration. And we may know that lots of environmental sensors are being created to monitor these kind of factors. But from the traditional ways but the growth status and growth rates are usually based on watching the image or videos, and it was usually based on human eyes. So we may know that this kind of method usually takes time and takes human power. So this kind of method is usually time-consuming and lack of objectivity. So my research is to create an image-based approach to monitoring the growth rate of the vegetable based on image-based. So in this image is my data, and the challenge is that image usually contains too much information. So as you can see, the green box in the images usually has lots of redundant information, and our target information is the red box and the lattice in this red box. So my research is to develop a deep learning. It's using a deep learning approach and this approach is convolutional neural networks, and I use this approach to tackle the image problem. So, in my research, my objective is to use the deep CNN to monitor the growth rate of lettuce. And my objective can divide into three parts. The first part is to identify the leaf area of the lettuce. And the second part, I will going to verify the accuracy of my area estimation. And the third one, I will use the result to monitor the growth rate of lettuce from the same lettuce. So the left picture is the original image I've got from our customized image system. And this one is a sample of the labeled image. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the image acquisition. My image acquisition is based on a customized system. And the system is composed of an image system and a PVC hydroponic system. And my material is lettuce, and its name is lower red lettuce. And 5 plants of lettuce was used in my research. Okay, so the lettuce was recorded every half an hour from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the total image number of total images are about 1218. And the image was briefly divided into 3 sets. And the first 2 sets is using for the model training and model testing. So the train set have 850 images, and the test set have 200 images. And these images are resized first from the original size to 800 and 600 pixels. And this image was then labeled by a label toolkit. It's named Label Me. And the third set is a set for monitoring the growth rate. And this set, the 100 is composed of 168 images. And these images are from the same lattice. So we can use this image to monitor the growth rate of this image. So this image are not, it's unnecessary to do a label. And I will pretend the original size of this image. Okay, so my method is to use a max-RCN method. And this approach is based on 7 procedures. And so the first procedure is a Bayesian and feature extraction network, feature proposal network, ROI alignment, bounding box regression, object classification, and finally is a max prediction. So I got lots of input images, and the input images was first put into a Bayesian. And the Bayesian there are lots of different convolutional networks. And the Bayesian is going to extracting the features from the images. And later I use the feature extraction network. The feature extraction network will combine the output of the C2, C3, C4, and C5. Combine these feature maps and finally propose them into a multi-scale feature maps. Later, the multi-scale feature maps was then put into RPN, and this RPN is called region proposal network. So the region proposal network is going to propose a lot of region of interest. We call it ROI, and this ROI was based on lots of presetting anchor box, and this presetting anchor box will find out the intersection of union, and we call it IOU, and the IOU is used for deciding if the box is going to be a foreground or a background, and if the IOU is bigger than 0.7, and we'll view it as a foreground. So these region of interest are selected from region proposal network. So later, I will use ROI alignment. ROI alignment is used to briefly find out a more clearly region of interest from this result of ROI. And the output of ROI alignment is the same scale of spatial feature maps. So this spatial feature maps is used for finding the max from the original image. So later, the results are divided into 3 branches. The first 2 branches is bounding box regression and object classification. And bounding box regression and object classification is based on fully connected layers. And the max prediction is based on the fully convolutional neural networks. Therefore, the fully convolutional networks can pretend the spatial features maps. So here's the result of this model. So you can see that the green box is the bounding box regression, and the right this is the object classification, and the max you can see here is the result of the max prediction. So here's my training detail. I use Cafe 2 as my deep learning framework, and the learning rate policy is Dept with decay. And here's the detail. And I will use the NVIDIA 1080 type as my GPU device. So in my method, step 1, I'm going to compute the exact leaf area. And step 2, I'm going to compare the error between the ground truth and detected area. So the ground truth, I use the labeled area as my ground truth area. And the detected area are the result of the max RCN model. And the exact area is based on the diameter of this PVC tube, and it's 10 centimeters in diameter. So based on lots of research that is associated to the growth rate estimation, the growth rate of the leaf area is usually exponential growth. So we use the exponential growth equation as an approach to do the growth rate estimation. So as you can see, this kind of method is based on the same time intervals. So in the result, I will have a result that I got an average growth rate of the letters. Okay, so in the model got a mean average precision of 0.8234. And you can see here, this is a leaf area detection. The original image is the middle one. And the labeled area, this is a labeled image. And this is the detection area of the letters. So we view this blue area as the ground truth area. And the detected area is from here. So here's the result. This result, we can show the blue point is the comparison of the detected area and the ground truth area. And the red point is the detection errors of the detected area and ground truth area. And the average, I will use 200 test image in the estimation, in the errors of the estimation area. As the average errors of this 200 test image is 2.37. Therefore, I got a mean accuracy of 97.63 in the leaf area estimation. So after calculation, the maximum area errors was only 0.25 centimeters. So here's the simple result of the growth rate of the letters. So these images are based from the 168 images from the stem letters, which is going to be used as the monitoring the growth rate. So as you can see, the number is the time from while it's based on the growing time. So here's a brief time-lapse image of the letters. So you can see that the max are just like the age of the letters. And you can see the area, I've shown the exact area in the left corner. So here's the result. Okay, so this result is based on the stem letters from the stem letters, and it's an area time graph of time-lapse image. So the red point is the average area in a day. Because I've said that the image was recorded from the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we can see that there are lots of root points in a day. So in order to do a more accurate calculation, I compute the mean area in a day. As you can see, it's a red point here. So finally, I got an average growth rate of 23.25 per day of the letters. So my conclusion is, by using Max on CNN, we are able to precisely detect letters and analyze its growth rate in the image, and the mean accuracy is high enough. And besides, I found that Max on CNN are able to solve more complicated problems in the future. So my future work is going to increase the number of the plants and also increase the species of lettuce to do a species classification by Max on CNN model. So in this research, there are only two classifications, and one is the lattice, and the second one is the background. So, but Max on CNN are able to do lots of classification on different species. So here's my acknowledgement. So thanks for listening.
Any question for Jie-Yan?
Do you have any idea how well surface area or leaf area corresponds to biomass? Do you have any idea how the lettuce surface area that you're measuring corresponds to the biomass of the plant?
The weight.
The weight?
Yeah, the weight. Like your area and the actual weight.
Oh, actual weight.
Weight.
The mass.
I didn't do the math. I already. Because my material is only image. What I got is only image, and so I'm not trying to. I didn't think that before about the weight, but so maybe I think it may be a good way to combine it with my research. So So but maybe I need to do more research about what's the importance of the way basis on the root of the lattice. Yes.
Okay, actually it's already 15 minutes, but wait a second. Let me ask, as the next presenter, Jie-Yan Lu is here. And next, Zhang Yi Huang. Okay, it looks like we might not have the next two talk. So maybe we can have more questions for Jie-Yan. But maybe it's very good, right? Anyone has more questions? Yeah.
Regarding the imaging system, could you elaborate just a little bit as far as how that sensor actually works? Were you just working with straight RGB, or were you including some other spectral information?
Question about
The camera? I guess like the camera, the imaging system you were using. Yeah.
This one. The image system, yeah.
Wait a second. Yeah.
So in this part is the webcam, and there's a Raspberry Pi in this image system. So we can take the image automatically remotely by the computer.
And it's just RGB? Just red, green, blue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No spectrum.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you have to make sure that the distance of the camera to the top of the
It's a distance fixes.
constant.
Yes.
Right?
So,
Because if you change that distance, the
yes, it will change.
image size could. Have you taken into consideration that, or it will be taken later?
Because the system is fixed here, so I only make sure that the distance is never change. So the system is fixed from the first day of imaging. So this is the things I do. I like to make sure that there's no change of the distance from the image system to the hydroponic system. So, but I didn't know the distance, the exact distance of this. It's made like 30 centimeters.
30 centimeters.
Yes. Right.
So what about the lens you have used? You said you used a webcam.
Yes.
So it's
It's a web.
all right. Thank you.
So did you want to ask about like if the plant grows higher, then the ratio for the image will change?
I don't know how high, what is the height of lettuce plant goes there.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, any other question? Oh.
So before feeding the inputs to the mask RCN, and it seems like you have to label the letters, and the area seems like the curve seems really fitting to the letters, right?
Yes.
So how did you do that? I mean, how do you label the letters? Because the curve seems really fit to the letters. Do you use any tools or by manually?
Oh, I didn't use any tool. I just used my hand.
It must take a lot of effort.
Yes, it takes lots of time.
Thanks for sharing.
So the green point is a point that
Is
takes time to use it.
is that something where you think image segmentation could be a benefit later on, where just looking at your background, it seems like it would be feasible to utilize image segmentation, some of those automated approaches to extract that lettuce, that green biomass, from that type of I guess, clean environment relative to plants?
I've tried some method before, but I think it's more accurate to use it by manually.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Takes time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for Jie-Yan to answer all of our questions. Thank you.
Thank you.